Greetings, Highland Oaks, and happy Tuesday to you. It's a pleasure to be with you here, and thanks for tuning in and listening to our daily devotional. I was thinking of a story this week. We like to take our family on long vacations. Our minivans have gone coast to coast many times in this great country, all the way from Washington, D.C., even to South Carolina, to the Gulf Shores, beaches, and even to California a couple of times. On one of the trips we took to California when our kids were smaller, we made a journey through Amarillo and saw the Texas play in Palo Duro Canyon. Then we went to Albuquerque and stayed the night and rode the Sandia Peak tramway up to the top of Sandia Peak, which is a wonderful experience. Then we drove through and went to the Grand Canyon and saw that wonder and splendor. We went to Vegas after that and stayed the night and went around to several different fun sights to see there. Then we went on to Hollywood, where we saw the Star Walk of Fame and the Chinese Theater, and we got to watch an Angels game in Anaheim. And then we went down to San Diego and spent several days at the beach and drove home down on the border. It was a great experience. We saw so many things, but when we asked the kids, when we finally got home on that 3,700-mile adventure, what was your favorite thing? They all had something great to share of the wonderful sights, but my son, who was 6 or 7 at the time, said, "Dad, my favorite thing was all-you-could-eat bacon at the breakfast buffet at the casino in Las Vegas." I mean, of all the things we saw, right, the Grand Canyon, all-you-could-eat bacon was the thing that he caught. And not to say he missed everything else, but his focus was there. You know, Jesus, when he was ministering, he went around and did a lot of traveling of his own. We remember that story from John chapter 5, where he comes up on the pool of Bethesda, and he notices this lame man who's laying there trying to get into the waters because it was told you could get well if you got in, but he couldn't get in and no one would get him in. Jesus has asked him the simple question, "Do you want to get well?" And then Jesus said to him, in fact, why don't you just pick up your mat, get up at once and walk. And at once he was cured, it says. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. And so the Jewish leaders said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath law, and it forbids you to carry your mat." What an incredible story, right? You see Jesus who heals this paralyzed man. He's been laying there forever trying to get in the pool. And Jesus says, we don't need the pool. We just need my power. So get up and walk. What an amazing thing. But just like when my son could only focus on the bacon in Vegas, the Pharisees could only picture on the fact that it was Sabbath and he had done something to break that. When all the while, the thing to focus on was Jesus and the miracle and the man that was healed. While we are in this time of crisis, we are sheltered in place, we are isolated from people, I think one of the tendencies will be for us to not keep our eyes on the bigger picture, but be distracted by the things that are distractible, that we'll want to repeat about the crisis, about how many people are getting sick, and even how many people have died. These things aren't unimportant, just as the memory for my son of bacon in Vegas wasn't unimportant. But what is going to be more important is to keep our eyes open to the work that Jesus is doing. Even on the Sabbath, Jesus is healing. Even in the midst of quarantine, we are Christians, and we will love one another, and we will love one another well. So take a moment today as you go on about your business to not forget all of the people who are shut in, who need encouragement, who are just waiting to have a phone call from you. And don't get distracted by all the bad news. Not that it's not worth listening to, but there are other things that we must keep our eye on as we look and we serve in this current environment. God bless you in your time during this quarantine, and God bless you as you minister and care for others.